all our positions.
Sorry.
And in reviewing all of our positions at the Ohio level and at our own level, we realized we did not have a position on criminal justice. We have, we're part of the Ohio League's position on juvenile justice, and the US League has positions like on the death penalty, but there's no uniform criminal justice position. And so Elizabeth and I thought we should ask for a position to be created. And so we proposed, Elizabeth wrote a one-page proposal to the state board and proposed that we do a study on criminal justice so that we could begin to create a position. So that evolved into a caucus at the state convention, and a motion that was passed, and there is now a huge study that has begun. And I want to mention that in developing our work for the state convention, we got the support and the partnership of the Cincinnati League, the Delaware League, the Greater Cleveland League, the Dayton League. So please, everyone, mute yourself so that we're not talking over each other. So there were five leagues together that proposed this study. And then we had support also from Akron, Athens, Bowling Green, Claremont, and Hudson. So now a major study of criminal justice has begun. It is chaired by an overall core planning committee, which consists of those 5 original leagues. And we are breaking it down into a series of 5 subcommittees. And before we go to those 5 subcommittees, this is the motion.
I think we lost the audio.
Cheryl has a backup computer though that she has started for this particular purpose. So she is probably coming back. There she is, she's coming back.
So sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So, and I've lost the screen, but so what we had in front of us was the motion that passed. And you can see that it is a study of criminal justice through the lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it will turn out either to be a concurrence with other state positions, because there are other state positions that are already out there, or as we look into the issue, it might turn out to be a consensus. Go ahead to the next slide with the 5 areas.
Oh, sorry, I went too far.
Okay, and we want to tell you about these 5 study subcommittees because we still welcome members. We've only had just an organizing meeting, and we've asked all the people who would consider being involved which of these 5 study committees they want to be involved with. But the 5 study committees are policing practices in general. And then the next step in the process of criminal justice is the pretrial and the trial procedures. So that's a separate committee. Then sentencing, then incarceration, and then reentry. And this is a dissertation level kind of research. We have 3 or 4 PhDs already in it. We have 3 or 4 attorneys already in it. We have volunteers, I think, from 10 or 12 different leagues, and some 30 to 40 people already involved. So if anybody else would like to get involved with one of the subcommittees, please email Elizabeth or me and we can get you started. Elizabeth, is there more that you'd like to add on any aspect of the criminal justice study?
I think you covered most of the basics. Just, you know, the first step we'll be having the subcommittees meet and do a general research of what is going on in these areas in Ohio, and then doing outreach and doing interviews and contacting various organizations, police organizations like the Fraternal Order of Police, prosecutor associations, like the Kirwan Institute of Race and Ethnic Studies here at Ohio State. There's reentry programs. There's almost an endless number of experts in the field that we could contact. So, the first part will be getting our feet underneath ourselves, and then reaching out to experts and also looking at other lead positions.
So again, you're welcome to join that study committee. It's very important work. We're excited to be part of it. It is a 2-year study. Any quick questions on that? Okay, so again, if you're interested, let me know or let Elizabeth know. At this point, I'd like to call our annual meeting to order and welcome everybody, and thank you for being part of this. It's really important. I'd like to introduce Sue Phillips, who is our parliamentarian. And thank you, Sue, for agreeing to be our parliamentarian. Because it is an annual meeting, we do want to make sure that we're doing everything properly. And on the agenda that Elizabeth sent out to you, you will see that there are rules at the bottom that we need to follow. There you go. Only paid up members of the Metro Columbus League may take part in the debate and the vote. No one can speak twice until all who want to speak get a chance to speak. Debate is limited to 2 minutes or less if the voting body decides to limit debate further. And then, of course, always state your name. We do have a quorum. More than 28 people are qualified people are on our call right now. And amendments to the bylaws will require 2/3 vote by the voting members. Okay, so we need to approve the annual league rules. May I have a motion to approve those rules? And so somebody just unmute yourself and speak up.
This is Sally. I will move to approve.
Thank you.
This is Pam. I'll second.
Thank you, Pam. Okay, we would like you either just to raise your hand or you raise your hand symbol, either one, and Elizabeth will check them. So all in favor of passing those annual meeting rules? Okay, you got them, Elizabeth?
Oh, yep.
Okay, all opposed? Okay. Thank you. We have passed. We have approved the annual meeting rules. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from last year's meeting. So the minutes were sent out to you. I think there will be at least one motion to make changes. So anybody please speak up with any changes or questions on last year's minutes.
Let's move approval. Have somebody move approval of the minutes first.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you,
So
Sue.
moved. Jan Patton.
Thank you, Jan. Can I hear a second?
Pam Conrad will second.
Thank you, Pam. Okay, at this point, any questions or any changes to propose to the minutes?
Bridget,
Thank you, Bridget.
yes, I would like to make a motion that we amend the minutes to include the fact that during that meeting, we did adopt the League of Women Voters of Metropolitan Columbus local program for the 2020 to 20, local positions for 2020 to 2022. And that was not included.
Thank you, Bridget. Do I hear a second to that motion?
Pam Conrad will second.
Thank you, Pam. Any questions or discussion about the proposed motion to amend? Okay. Hearing no questions or objections, all in favor of the proposed motion to amend the minutes from last time, please raise your hand.
I got it.
All opposed, please raise your hand. Okay. The motion has passed. The rules have been amended. Okay,
Now let's adopt the minutes as amended.
I'm sorry.
Now we need to adopt the minutes as
Amended.
amended.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, does this takes a new motion then?
Yes.
So,
Well,
may I-
no, but yes, it does, because we amended. Make a new.
okay, can I hear a motion to adopt the minutes from last year as amended?
So moved, Bridget.
Thank you, Bridget. Second, please.
Mary Call.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes as amended, please raise your hand.
This is much more fun in person.
Yes. Well, next year, we'll likely be able to do it in person. Okay, all opposed? Are we good, Elizabeth?
Yep, good.
Okay, so the amended minutes have been approved. Thank you. Okay. At this point, I get the opportunity to make the State of the League remarks. So again, I want to welcome and thank everyone who is part of this call today. Thank you for attending our annual meeting. Your attendance here today is so critical as we conduct our annual business and prepare for a new year that promises to be busier and more challenging than ever. Fiscal year 2021 has been an important and successful year for the League of Women Voters of Metro Columbus. A big thank you goes to Barb Hikes, who presided over the board through October 2020 and who oversaw the successful conclusion of the 100th anniversary celebration and our successful voter registration, information sharing, and election protection work. And as always, a huge thank you to Elizabeth Grieser, who masterfully organizes all of the League's work from the big picture planning to the coordination of the smallest details. Let's give both Barb Hikes and Elizabeth Grieser a big virtual round of applause. The state of the Metro Columbus League is strong. I'm only going to mention a few examples, and so I'm going to apologize in advance that I can't mention more details and personally thank more people. So please read the committee reports for important details you'll want to learn. Plus, you'll see how hard your fellow League members are working. Fiscally, we are very sound. Our membership is growing. We've added more than 100 new members this year. For the 2020 general election, we distributed more than 50,000 copies of the voter information bulletin through the Columbus Dispatch. Then, via virtual distribution channels, The voter information bulletin reached tens of thousands of more readers. We hosted 5 candidate forums for the general election, and in spite of the pandemic, Beth Taggart found a way to provide a virtual phone bank with WBNS TV on election day. We hosted more than 90 voter outreach events by debuting new socially distanced and masked events in small groups, outdoors, and with drive-through options. This was ingenuity and resilience. More than ever, we have concentrated on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and found new ways to make progress, including hosting 2 21-day social justice and racial equality challenges. We added a book club that specifically focuses on racial justice issues. And Mary Austin Palmer developed new ways to bring even more young people into our civic engagement work. It has been a remarkable year. We have accomplished so much in spite of so many obstacles that have been thrown in our way. And obviously, we're not alone in having to find ways to overcome obstacles. The state of the Metro Columbus League of Women Voters is strong and hopefully growing stronger. We are growing in so many ways. The number of members of the league has increased. The number of programs and events has increased. The level of involvement of our members has increased. Also, the extremely valuable knowledge and experience of our membership has continued to grow and spread, due both to our great fortune to have scores of long-term dedicated members who have served the league for decades, and our very great fortune to attract numerous dedicated new members who come on board with enthusiasm and energy to continue the quest to safeguard our democracy. Yes, the state of our league today is very good, and we all have each other to thank for that. Everyone who is attending today, you are what makes today's league strong and healthy. However, now I want to ask a different question. Is the Metro Columbus League strong enough? With everything that our American democracy is facing today, are we strong enough? We are witnessing an assault on our voting rights like we've never seen before, not just in Ohio, but also in more than 3/4 of all states. And over the last couple of years, we've seen a monumental assault on the truth. Everyone in this virtual room knows how important it is to know the truth and tell the truth. That is why we work so hard on publishing our voter information bulletin, on sponsoring candidate forums, on testifying before legislative bodies, on carefully and thoroughly researching and developing our new advocacy positions. We are strong and we are growing, but we do need to keep growing. We need to celebrate the wisdom of our long-term members. We need to cherish and mentor our new members. We need to rededicate and re-energize our base and all of our friends and supporters. There's more work than ever, and it is urgent. I know that I'm speaking to the choir today. I'm so glad that you, the choir, you are already singing loudly. Please keep singing and inviting more people to join this chorus. Please follow the action alerts that the League is sending you and take those actions. We are at a very critical time in our democracy, and this choir, the League of Women Voters Choir, all of us, we can be a voice that people will listen to and follow. Thank you. And now it is my great honor to recognize the Member of the Year, Ann Bowman. Ann, a 35-year member of the league, one of the people with decades-long experience that we so value. Ann's being honored for undertaking numerous projects for our 100th anniversary and for our membership efforts. For 2019 and 2020, Ann organized opportunities for league members to march in local parades and celebrate our 100th anniversary and the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. Unfortunately, because of COVID, all of those parades were canceled, but that didn't stop Ann. She just got in touch with the Ohio Historical Society and the Ohio State House. She helped create a permanent display that honors our 100th anniversary. She worked with the Dublin high schools for a special anniversary commemoration and photos that will be part of that permanent display, and also were reported in the Dublin, Ohio magazine. In addition, Ann is the coordinator of our mentoring program. As you know, when new members join the league, they have the opportunity to get a member, and does a great job with the program and continuing and matching mentors and mentees. And if there are any new members who have not yet taken part in that program, please see Ann. She'll match you up. It's a great learning experience. And this past year, Ann has taken on a new initiative in collaboration with Mary Austin Palmer. She has organized a new program for students. So we're about to hear about that new program from Mary Austin Palmer. But Ann, thank you so much for everything that you do for the league and have been doing for 35 years. Thank you for your energy and your enthusiasm. Congratulations on being the Member of the Year.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Mary Austin Palmer to tell us all about our student board members and our student council. We're looking forward to meeting them.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. And I want to welcome our student league members that are joining us tonight. I must say, I read the resume of each one of them, and I was ready to give up my board seat and allow any one of them to take over, because they are ready and eager to join us and go to work. Tonight, we have several on the call with us, and I would ask each student to please unmute themselves and jump in and introduce yourself since you're here with us. Tony, could you start?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for allowing students to join this meeting. I'm very excited to get started with you guys and bring about change in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Are you on?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, as Tony said, I'm honored to be here and be with you guys, and I'm also really excited to see change in our community.
And what school are you from?
I'm now going to be a junior at Dublin Scioto High School.
Awesome, thank you. Grace.
Hello, my name is Grace Kim. I'm 16, turning 17 soon. I'm very excited to be here and see everyone here. And I'm going to be a senior at Dublin Jerome High School. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you. And Olivia.
Hi, my name's Olivia. I'm going to be a senior at Grandview Heights High School. I'm really excited to be here. I'm just excited for this year. Yeah, thanks.
So thank you for being here. And we have one of our board members, Rehab, Ben Amit. Can you please introduce yourself and give us a couple?
Hi, my name is Reham. I go to Dublin, so I'm going to be a junior.
I'm actually really excited to be able to be part of this board and make an impact in the community and just have a change, have a voice in social justice and work with all you amazing ladies. And I'm very excited to see where we go and the things that we can do.
Thank you. I tell you, we are going to be doing some things. Andrea is an actress and is probably performing tonight. Her schedule is tight, but at the end of this month, she will be free to be with us. But Andrea Natalie is one of our students. We have twins. We have Aliyah Muhammad and Aisha Muhammad. Both are twins, 11th graders from Columbus Alternative High School. We also have one student from Central Crossing High School, Brianna Sammons. We have Carol Davis, an 11th grader from the Art and College Preparatory Academy. And then we have Fifi, who's not with us, is a 10th grader at the Arts and College Preparatory Academy. And I must say, these students called me out, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and they organized a voter registration summit at their school in remembrance of Columbine, which I don't think any of them were born at that time, but that's just how involved they are there. We also have, I don't think Caden is on the call with us. If you are, please unmute. But Caden Martin he's from Dublin Scioto High School. We have Catherine Cohen also, and you met the others. But look to see us. We're going to be engaged, active, and involved. So please help me give them a round of applause for being here with us. Thank you. I turn it back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you for your innovative work with the council and our 2 new board members. We're very excited to have them, and thank you to all of you who attended today. Please stay with us the rest of the meeting. I think you'll learn a lot, and we may get a chance to learn from you as well. So thank you, Mary, and all the members that you have just introduced.
Thank you. Cheryl, just quickly, Fifi just joined us. Could Fifi say hi?
Yes, please.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I was having some issues with Zoom, but hi, I am Fifi. It's nice to see you.
Thanks.
Well, Fifi. Go ahead, Mary.
I just was thanking her for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. All of the members of the league are very happy that you're all going to be part of this, and we look forward to the role that you will play in helping spread the word about voting and voting rights and criminal justice and all the work that the league is involved with. So thank you all. Okay, next we'll go to the treasurer's report. So I'll turn it over to Ben and Elizabeth.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Sullivan. I am the treasurer. If we haven't spoken before, I'm glad to see that Elizabeth selected page 11 here. And we can have that as the backdrop as I just do a quick survey of the year to date financially for us. And I'm going to parrot, I think, what Cheryl stated earlier. In no way do I want to diminish, it's impossible to diminish the difficulties, the challenges, and indeed the crises of the last year. Probably understating there, in stating that it's been a very good year for us financially. And that's a good thing. That's just unreservedly a good thing. Any astute viewer here of the spreadsheet, if you have your calculator out on the side, you see that our total assets went up by about 20% from this period in the last year. And here's where I'll make a slightly more detailed note, is that you'll also see that this report runs through May 24th, which is not the end of our fiscal year. Our fiscal year ends, as do many, on June 30th. So this is a preliminary report here. We will, I think Elizabeth mentioned, we'll have that final count, the final spreadsheet completed, sometime in July. Probably we'll just say late July to be safe. So again, this is just 6 weeks short of the full calendar or fiscal year, that is. Okay, so because no one really wants to get too far into the weeds with these type of things, especially remotely, unless you're being paid for it, I'm going to keep this conversation at 40,000 feet. And I will stress that if you have questions about any element of the spreadsheet, you can feel free to please enter them in the chat. You can email Elizabeth, who can then pass it on to me. If you somehow have my email address, you can email me as well. But we're just going to kind of walk through things quickly and kind of just take it all in. One big note about a lot of nonprofits, and we are no exception to that, when you're talking about sort of year-to-year fiscal health, your income is going to vary quite a bit, as ours does from year to year. We all know that, 2020 was an election year, so you see a lot of activity that is reflected in membership patterns and also sort of what we bring in, to put it bluntly. However, our expenses are pretty flat. Even with the pandemic and the fact that, hey, we've all been in these virtual boxes talking to each other, we have to keep our footprint at Bush Boulevard. So we have expenses that are going to carry on month to month, year to year, without much variance and with very little opportunity to move those much. And that includes really important work we do, like the VIB and other things. So lastly, before I talk through some of these talking points here and the slide that we're on currently, I just kind of want to stress that these years in the black are crucially important because they sort of prepare us for continuity and for down years or off election cycles, as we see. We're going to be in one here this year. They allow us to be a little more opportunistic when grant funding isn't available, to take on some projects, to be a little more aggressive if the board and our membership decides that's the route they want to take with certain things we might do. But given that, we don't want to be complacent, and certainly we have not been complacent with our efforts in fundraising and looking to build our assets for the future. And here we just have to stress the terrific work that the DIA committee and Cheryl, everyone involved with every fundraising project in the development committee over the last year has done in what can be charitably described as a challenging environment for just about everything, but none the least of which raising funds for a nonprofit. Now I'm actually going to speak to these talking points just real fast. And here, if you've had a chance to go over the numbers, or if you have them open on another screen or this screen, that's fine, but we'll keep this just at sort of the narrative talking points. One, as I mentioned, from our first income line, or income line one on the profit and loss, membership is up. As Cheryl mentioned, we're up about 100. And what that means is that, we are bringing more money in for those membership dues. We have more opportunities to talk to our members about how they might like to contribute to our cause. But a lot of that does go towards the operations at state and national. And I'll leave it up to Elizabeth if she'd like to discuss PMP payments. But just know that as you support us, we are supporting the state and national leagues, which is important, but still a great thing that membership is up, and we hope to keep that trend going. About that variable income, line 3, which we sort of umbrella into other contributions, those can vary a lot year to year. And that includes things like event income, in this case, the Big Give, which happens when it happens, and we take advantage of it when we can. We did very well with that, with $6,500 in this year during the Big Give. It also, sometimes some elements of our other contributions are more regular, like some of our corporate relationships, our corporate sponsors, like Cardinal Health, who we have a relationship with through our board. And lastly, estate gifts can factor into other contributions, and those do tend to be more sizable than some of the sort of monthly or hey, I'm going to throw you $20 type gifts that we see in line 2, which is member contributions. So other contributions are larger things that we have difficulty planning for, and we'd like to be conservative by not assuming we're going to get them. Now I'm going to focus on DIA for a moment. As many of you know, if you attended the event or otherwise were aware of it on emails, we held our annual Democracy in Action event virtually. And while you have to kind of admit that we didn't bring in what maybe we would have liked, in a normal year, we actually did, I think, by any stretch of the imagination, incredibly well in both maximizing what everyone in the door, excitement, engagement, and also our return. I would call them our door return, but there was no door to speak of. So that was a terrific success, and we just have to thank again everyone that was involved in that. Few more items here on the income side. You'll see the VIB sales. If you're a longtime member or you know anything about how that works, that number, which is close to 8,000, is pretty high. As you know, we're not really selling the VIB. That is an information bulletin for voters. But in this case, in 2020, it was a one-year advertisement by the Franklin County Auditor, which that is very much, that was kind of a one-off. And that's not something that you can anticipate or plan for in any way. But that was a check for near $7,000 that we certainly do appreciate. And lastly, this again is such a crucial part of our work. If we look down to line 12 and our sublines there for grants. Here, and this is a litany. Grant income also, this is about who's there writing the grants, what grants are out there to pursue and to win, and sort of what we're doing during the year. One thing I'll note about restricted grants is that largely you can think about grants that we get as kind of like we are being paid in more or less a contractual fashion for work that we do in the community. So in this case, in many cases, a lot of the grant funding we get is going directly into the work that Elizabeth or others in the organization are doing. So I like to think that we can think of this sort of exceptionally green year in grants as being reflective of how much we did out there for the 2020 election. So next year you might talk to me and I'll say, well, we were a bit down, but that won't be unexpected at all. It really kind of reflects what's been going on. In this case, election protection activities, which I would have to assume is going to be an ongoing concern that hopefully we'll be involved in, but also some voter outreach and high school civics programs. And some of those are sort of year to year and some are not. Two notes, if you want to scroll down, Elizabeth, just a little bit to expenses, if you don't mind. Again, this is not new, but line 16, salary wages, that's sort of our biggest pillar of expenses. And that will never really go down, but we do expect that to maintain steady. And again, that just reflects the terrific work that Elizabeth has done and will continue to do for us. And lastly, this is more of a side note, an addendum. Lines 30 and 31, without going into the details, Democracy in Action and the 100th anniversary, especially thanks to the pandemic, you can kind of just consider those one expense line. So in the case of line 31, I think that was for both printing the program booklets and some other activities that revolved around Maria Hinojosa's event with us. So I just want to stress here that things are good. I guess if you like bar charts or tracking these things, being up 20% year to year is really not a bad thing at all. But I'll just stress here that these years are important to gird us against the years where the spotlight might not be as directly on us due to no national, no presidential elections, but that doesn't mean that we aren't doing very important things with this money all the time. And it also is not to diminish how important it is for all of us to, when you can, contribute to the work or contribute to our ability to do the work through one-time gifts or through talking with your employer, through talking with corporations, and anything you can do, any way you want to get involved to make sure that we continue to do this work in the future. But that's all I got. I probably went over where I thought I'd be, but that's what you get from me off the cuff. And I'll pass it off to Elizabeth with budget.
Thank you, Ben.
If anyone has questions, they can type them in the chat or they can reach out to us afterwards.
So with the report that Ben just gave, I believe all we need to do is file it. And that takes us on to the next step, which is Elizabeth talking about our upcoming budget.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you to the budget committee, which was Barb Hikes, Ben Sullivan, Mary Call, Cheryl Roller, and myself. You can find a copy of the proposed budget, which on page 12. It is fairly similar to budgets from the previous year. If you'll remember, last year we consolidated our accounts from 2 into 1. So now we just have a budget for one account, which makes things a little more transparent and easy to read. We do a fairly conservative budget every year. To kind of build on what Ben was saying before, a lot of times we cannot anticipate exactly where our income will come from. There are some things we can plan on, but other gifts, other grants or fundraising opportunities, we cannot anticipate, 12 to 16 months in advance. So our budget for the upcoming year is the largest yet. We're at over $93,000. And we continue to make our budget larger because we have a larger membership base. We are doing more voter outreach events almost every year. We have more projects and issues that we're advocating for, and that means a higher budget. So one of the things I did want to point out is line 14, which you'll see is transferred to and from savings. That's a pretty large chunk. You'll see it's $13,000. That is to balance our budget so that our income will equal our expenses. I will let you know that I have been drawing up budgets for this organization since 2012, and we have always had a line 14, a transfer to and from savings in the budget. However, I have never had to, in practice, transfer any money to or from the savings. So that's not a guarantee that we won't this year, but I think it does indicate that we regularly have unexpected income, and we expect line 14 in reality to be much smaller or non-existent after the fact. So I guess I will open it up if anyone has any questions. As you can see, our expenditures are mostly salary. We also have the regular kind of flat expenses for our office rent, our supplies, our phone line, what it costs to print the voter guide, what it costs to put on Democracy in Action, which is our largest fundraiser. Each of the committees gets a small kind of stipend to fund their activities. But does anyone have any questions? Ava, you can put it in the chat.
Let me answer that, Elizabeth. Yes, we are giving Elizabeth a raise in this new budget.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Elizabeth, will you please indicate what our dues are at this time?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Would you please indicate what our dues are? Membership dues.
Yes, thank you. I will share this again. So our dues for the Metro Columbus League for a single membership are $75. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the wrong thing to share. Are $75. We also have a lower amount, which is $40, that people are welcome to choose. And then we have a $125 amount that is a household membership for 2 people. We pay, if you look at lines 26 and 27, we pay a total of $32 of those dues amounts per person to the National League and a total of $25 per person from those dues to the state. So in total, we pay $57 per member to the state and National League, and they use that to help fund their programs, which is also why when you join the local league in Columbus, you're automatically a member of the Ohio League and the National League. But you can see that's a fairly substantial payment that we do make every year to the state and National League.
Are there other questions regarding the budget? Do I hear a motion to pass the budget?
Donna Marie, I move we pass the budget for the following year.
Thank you, Donna Marie. Can I hear a second?
Bridget McDaniel, I'll second.
Thank you, Bridget. Any other discussion before we take the vote?
Looks like there's a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Is there a line item for printing?
No, that just goes under, here, I'll show you. It is supplies and postage is what I usually put for printing. Occasionally some printing will go under the voter service committee, especially if we are printing, large quantities of voting 1, 2, 3 cards or things like that that are passing out at voter registration events.
And the voter information bulletin has its own line
Yes,
item
correct.
for printing.
So printing for the voter information bulletin is $7,000, and that's its own line item because we pay that directly to the Columbus Dispatch.
Are there any other questions? Okay, we have a motion to approve the budget. All in favor, please raise your hands. Got him, Elizabeth?
Yep.
Okay, all opposed, please raise your hands.
Got it.
We good, Elizabeth? Okay, we have passed the budget. Thank you for that. Moving on then, the next item is our bylaw changes. So back to Elizabeth to explain some changes we are proposing to adopt for our bylaws.
Okay. These are changes. There's 2 changes that we'll be making tonight. The current Article 2 is being amended to make it an exact duplicate of the National League Article 2. And the National League requires that all state and local leagues have this same language in Article 2. So that's why we are amending our bylaws to reflect that. We had additional language in our original Article 2, and so we're moving that to Article 7, Section 5 under financial administration because it had to do with our 501c3 status. So you can see on page 13, we got rid of the first few lines and we changed it to what you see here in red under Article 2 in red. That is the exact copy of what is in the LWVUS's bylaws. And then we moved the remainder of Article 2 into Article 7, Section 5. So no changes were made to that section, no wording changes were made other than moving that section to a different place in the bylaws. Does anyone have any questions about this particular change to Article 2?
Okay, not hearing any questions or discussion. Can I hear a motion to approve the bylaw changes?
Q, so moved.
And a second, please.
Julie Friend, second.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Kitty. Okay, any further discussion on the proposed changes to the bylaws? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approving the changes to the bylaws, please raise your hand.
Okay,
All opposed to the changes in the bylaws?
okay.
Okay, the changes to the bylaws have been approved and amended. We
So
good,
we have
Sue?
one other change to the bylaw to make.
Okay,
So that
go
was
ahead.
the first one. And the second one is Article 10, Section 3 is being deleted because the Ohio League no longer has a state council. So we're taking that out of our bylaws because that no longer exists.
Okay, can I hear a motion to make this amendment to our bylaws to remove the state council?
So moved.
Was that Ben?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. And a second?
Jan Patton, second.
Thank you, Jan. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of making this amendment to our bylaws, please raise your hand.
Okay,
All opposed, please raise your hand.
okay, got it.
Okay, so the second amendment to our bylaws has been approved. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And then moving, next item is our nominating committee report. And thank you to the nominating committee for your work on this. Elizabeth, please give us the report of the nominating committee.
The nominating committee this year was myself, Jan Patton, Gloria Davis, Marcia Calloway, and I feel like I'm forgetting someone. I think that was it. If I've forgotten someone, you can speak up and let me know. We did our work back in February mostly, so it's been a little while. Oh, okay. So page 15 is the nominating committee report, the board slate for the upcoming year. We will be voting on the following officers: Vice President of Development, Kitty Burkew; Vice President Voter Service, Ellen Rapkin; Vice President of Advocacy, Bridget McDaniel; Treasurer, Ben Sullivan; Secretary, Lindsay Kaufman. For trustees, we have Rolnesia Carolina Albert, Julia Applegate, Raya Kupler, Mary Helen Hart, Beth Stroll. And we also have a membership chair, which is currently open. So if anyone is interested in being the chair of the membership committee, we are looking. We have some current board members whose term is continuing through the next year that we will not be voting on, but their names are listed at the bottom of the screen. And then we have our nominating committee for 2022. Sue, do you want me to do the nominating committee after we do the board?
Yeah, yes, do the officers and then do the trustees.
The trustees.
The nominating committee.
Okay. So before we do the officers, I wanted to just let everyone know that pages 16, 17, and 18 are profiles of our incoming board members. So please take a minute to look at those. And some of them are on the call today, so I was gonna stop sharing and let them introduce themselves before we vote. Let's see who's there.
And Cheryl should ask for nominations
Oh, okay.
for each category.
Do that first.
Okay, so since we're doing this by categories and we're doing the officers first, so Sue, would you like them to introduce themselves first, or for us to put this slate of candidates to nominate it first?
Let's go ahead and get a motion to get them elected.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve this slate of officers, which would be Kitty Burkew as our VP of Development, Ellen Rapkin as our VP of Voter Services, Bridget McDaniels, VP of Advocacy, Ben Sullivan, Treasurer, and Lindsay Kaufman, Secretary. So I need a motion to approve that slate of candidates.
So move, Lucy Buzzy.
Thank you, Lucy. I need a second.
Mary Austin Palmer, I second it.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, at this point, please introduce yourself and then we'll have any questions or discussions. Kitty, would you like to start?
Let's see if there are any nominations from the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, any nominations from the floor for any of the officer positions? Okay, I'm not hearing any. And if somebody is trying to speak and we don't hear you, please use the chat as well. Okay, I'm not hearing any or seeing any additional nominations for officers.
Let's have the motion and then we can introduce them all.
Okay, so we have the motion again for the slate of officers.
I'll
that
move.
ha-
Janice.
All
I
right.
so move for all officers for the slate to be approved.
Thank you, Janice. Another second, please.
Mary Austin Palmer, I second it.
Thank you, Mary. All right. I think we're ready for them to introduce themselves now, and any other discussion?
So we're going to have them elected by acclamation.
Good.
Yeah.
Can we introduce them first or should we wait until it's all over?
First.
I don't think we're going to throw anybody out when we meet them. Let's get the vote.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor of approving this officers, the slate of officers in front of you for the 5 officers that we've mentioned, please raise your hand. And Sue, thank you for walking us through this.
Okay.
All right, and then all opposed?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we have approved the slate of officers for the incoming year, and now let's introduce them. So Kitty, would you introduce yourself first?
Sure. I'm Kitty Burkew. I have been a member of the league for many, many years and have been on the board off and on for a lot of those years, but I am returning now to the board after about almost 10 years of being off board. And I've spent the last few years, almost 10 of them, focusing on development. And hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more of that over the coming year. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it, and it should be a fun year.
Thank you, Kitty. Ellen, would you go next, please?
Yeah, Ellen Rapkin, Voter Service Committee. I'm looking forward to working on the committee. It really helps to have Elizabeth giving you some guidance. Right now, we're looking for opportunities to go out and register voters and check people's registration. And I think we already have a few things lined up, but we're going to try to find more, because even though it's not a presidential year, the election is going to be pretty important. There are a couple of big races on the ballot and some smaller races too.
Thank you, Ellen. Bridget, would you introduce yourself now?
Certainly. I'm Bridget McDaniel. I've been a member of the league for 3 years, been on the board for 2 years, and I am Vice President of Advocacy with Sally Morgan. We're actually co-vice presidents. And I enjoy very much working with the league and with all of you.
Thank you, Bridget. Ben, your turn to introduce yourself.
Hi again. I'm still Ben. I think I've been on the board since 2017. I've been treasurer since 2019, 2020. Years are blurring a bit thanks to last year. Let's see. I'll spare you any biographical details. In terms of league work, this coming year, I'm encouraging anyone with any ideas for grants to make that a reality. I'd like to sort of help with that. I've got some interest in grant writing or just the world of grants. That's kind of what I do as a living. So I think it's a good opportunity, as Ellen stated, that we should continue to kind of think big, even if there aren't the biggest elections happening immediately. So any grant ideas, reach out to the board, to me. I'm happy to get involved.
Thank you, Ben. And then Lindsay Kaufman. Lindsay, where are you?
I don't think she's on.
Okay. All right, so congratulations to our new officers, and let's move on to our new trustees. So Elizabeth, would you like to mention each of our trustees, and then we'll mention the slate of candidates, and then we'll ask for any additional nominations.
Okay. Our trustees on the nominating committee report are Rolnicia Carolina Albert, Julia Applegate, Raya Kupler, Mary Helen Hart, and Beth Stroll.
Do we have any additional nominations from the floor? Let me check the chat in case anybody wanted to put anything there. Okay, not hearing any nominations from the floor. Then may I hear a motion to approve this slate of trustees?
This is Sally. I'll move to approve the slate.
Thank you, Sally.
Barbara Muller, second.
Thank you, Barbara. Any discussion on our slate of trustees? Okay, are we ready to go ahead then and vote on our slate of trustees? We good, Sue? Okay, all those in favor of approving the slate of trustees, please raise your hand.
Aye. I can't.
Thank you, Janice.
Okay, I got it.
All right, all opposed?
Okay.
Okay, so our new slate has passed, and we're very excited to recognize and welcome our 5 new board members. Very pleased with that. Thank you, everyone, for supporting that. And thank you to the nominating committee for your work.
Are you are some of them, the newly elected trustees online? Are some of them there themselves?
I think some of our newly elected trustees are in the meeting. Is that what you mean, Sue?
Yes, have them introduce themselves too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Ronisha, would you please start and introduce yourself first?
Good evening, everyone. I am so honored. Thank you for voting for me. I have a lifetime of volunteering. I'm a pastor's kid and a military brat, but the League of Women Voters is so near and dear to my heart. I love the work that's being done specifically in Columbus, so I'm excited to further the work. I'm telling everyone in my network, they have to have a membership and get involved. So we'll keep that going. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronisha. Julia, you're next. Would you please introduce yourself?
Oh, Julia was coaching her daughter's softball game tonight. She sends her apologies.
Okay. Raya. Rhea, am I saying it right? How about Rhea? Are you on?
Hi. Yep, it's Raya. I'm very excited to be here. I work at OSU locally, so and I've served on a multitude of boards throughout school and everything. I was a student member of the league all through school, and it's my first year as a school member. And I'm very excited. I have an interest in increasing access to voting for inpatient hospitalized. And so I hope I get to kind of further that through this work as well.
Thank you, Rhea. Mary, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Rhea. Let's go on then. Mary Helen Hart, you're next. Is Mary on?
Yeah, she is.
Yes, hello. This is Mary Helen Hart. I'm happy to see a lot of familiar faces. I used to be with the League of Women Voters on the board for several years, and I've been away for about 9 years, and I'm looking forward to getting involved again. As it has been mentioned several times, it's particularly critical for the health of our democracy to be involved, and this is a good time to come back on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. How about Beth? Is she on?
I don't think
Beth?
she's on.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And welcome again to all of our new trustees and officers. So let's see. Now we need to go back to the nominating committee for an additional member of the nominating committee?
Yes. Sue, can I nominate someone from the floor? Or do we have to do a motion?
You can not just nominate somebody.
Okay. I nominate Jan Patton to be on the 2022 nominating committee.
And do we have a second for that?
Mary Austin Palmer, I second that.
And Jan, are you on? I want to make sure we have your consent and that, thank you. Jan, we have your consent, correct? Thank you. All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor of adding Jan Patton to the nominating committee for the upcoming year, please raise your hand.
Okay.
All right, and all opposed?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, and we have passed that Jan will be a member of our nominating committee for the upcoming year. Thank you.
And now vote on all three of them.
Oh, on
the
oh,
chair.
okay, I'm with you. All right, so now the complete slate of the committee, the nominating committee for next year. Elizabeth, would you not only make that motion, but repeat all the members of the nominating committee that we are voting on now as a complete slate?
Yes. I move to accept the 2022 nominating committee, which will be myself, Jan Patton, and Lucy Buzzy.
Thank you. Do we hear a second?
Bridget McDaniel, I second.
Thank you, Bridget. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the 3 people nominated to serve as our nominating committee for the following year, please raise your hand.
Okay.
All opposed?
Okay.
All right, so I assume we've passed that one. Thank you. All right. I think the next item then is comments and direction to the board and suggestions for the board retreat. So this is an important part where we would like to hear from our membership, all of those in attendance. We have a board retreat coming up in which we will determine a lot of our actions for the coming year. And we would like to hear from our membership of suggestions for topics for the board retreat or suggestions for things that we should be involved with this coming year. Some of the stuff we've already talked about, how important it is to keep growing and spreading our message, expanding our work. But please let me open this up for comments from the membership. Okay, this is the time when people are shy, so don't be shy. It was at this time last year and in this discussion that we started talking about how we needed to do more for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's something that we will obviously continue to work on and we'll be very involved with in our study of the criminal justice system as well. Any comments, anything anybody would like to put into the chat?
While we're waiting, we have one other of our student board representatives that's joined us, and it's Andrea. If she'd like to introduce herself right now. Andrea, are you still on?
Yeah, hi. So sorry I was late. My name's Andrea Nadolny. I go to Thomas Worthington High School. I'm going to be a senior next year, and I'm really excited to be on this board to promote voting and rights.
Thank you, Andrea. We welcome you. We're so glad that you're part of the exciting work of the Student Council going forward and helping us to spread the word. Mary, you did it. Mary and Anne have done a terrific job in getting this group together and in training them. And that's a continuing process as well. Yes. Okay, any comments for work you'd like to see the league involved with above and beyond what we're already doing? Okay, not hearing.
Excuse me. We didn't speak to continuation of our program positions, which we have. And maybe it would be worth mentioning the general areas and that might cause someone to say, oh ho, why aren't we doing more in that area? And I'm willing to help, or at least think about it for the future. So you want to go to our list of programs and
yes, thank you, Sue. Elizabeth, why don't you start that and I'll jump in. And I would also ask each of the committee chairs to jump in and mention the various things that you're prioritizing for the coming year.
Sue, do you mean like our local positions?
yes, just the Metro Columbus position.
Okay.
The general topics, but, you know.
Let me see. Let me pull those up.
And Elizabeth, while you are pulling that up, I just want to say thanks again to all of our students who have joined us this evening. And going forward, I speak to the entire membership. We would like for you to reach out and encourage other young students, young people, to join the league and come out and get involved with us. I'd like to see that going forward. Our student population 30 and under numbers increase for the year.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
So the league has a number of positions on the national and state level, which we use to advocate for various positions and issues. On the local level, we have a few local positions. I think the last local position we added was in 2012, so it's been a while since we've added a new position, but we have addiction services, community-based treatment, education, focusing on supportive programs to achieve a racial balance in the public schools in Columbus, support for Columbus County Children's Services, a justice and corrections position, a land use and regional planning position, which was the latest one that we added, levy funded agencies, and public transit. So these are all on our local Metro Columbus League website, and you can read the full positions. Here is the full position on public transit if you're interested. And we passed the continuation of these local positions last year at the annual meeting for 2 years until 2022.
All right, any comments on any of those positions? It is very important to read our positions and be aware of all the work that we have done and all of the opportunities we have to advocate on behalf of those positions, and to think about how they need to be occasionally updated and expanded. All right. Kitty, go ahead, please.
Well, this is not on the positions. This is a plug for the development committee. The committee is always looking for new ideas and people. The more people we have, the more obviously we can do. So if you have ideas that we should explore for raising funds for the league, or if you know of people or you yourself are interested in joining the development committee, we'd love it. The other thing that we would certainly welcome are names of potential DIA honorees for next year. We received a few in the survey that followed DIA, and we will be looking at those early this summer, as well as any others that you might suggest as good candidates. Thank you.
I want to add to that. I'm very appreciative of Kitty's 10 years of extraordinary work on the development committee. And we had to talk her into continuing to chair it and to come on the board. And she did that willingly, but with the commitment that she would do it for 1 year. So we are also looking for somebody who Kitty can mentor for a full year. And it's a wonderful learning opportunity to come in and work with Kitty and that committee with the idea of being willing to chair it after Kitty has served her 11th year on the development committee.
Yes, thank you, Cheryl.
The other thing I want to mention too is we do not currently have a chair for the membership committee. So please, if you're inspired today, please tell us that you would be interested in chairing the membership committee. Lucy is the outgoing chair of the membership committee and did an extraordinary job with that. But we do need somebody to help us with that going forward, because we know that we need to do more with our wonderful resources here, and that it means expanding our reach into the community with more members, more opportunities for events, more advocacy efforts. So thank you if somebody would be interested to chair the membership committee. Any other comments?
Yeah.
Ellen?
Yeah, I wanted to encourage the student members that will probably could use your involvement in the member services activity. And I know if you read the e-voter, which I'm assuming you're all getting, you'll see some of the opportunities to get involved. And if you would like to come, I forget our next committee meeting, I think is the 24th, if you'd like to join in. But I think getting you students involved would be really helpful to our efforts. Did I say enough, Mary? She's still there?
And to add on to what Ellen just said, please know that you're always welcome to come as a guest to any committee meeting and observe them and decide which committee or committees you'd like to get involved with. Mary, go ahead.
Go first.
Yes, yes, to our new student members, school first. We do understand that. Of course, you can always write papers on the league's work. All right, any other comments? All right, seeing no other comments, let me remind you that always please feel free to send comments and suggestions to Elizabeth or to me. We would love to hear them, either for the board retreat or ongoing through the year. At this time, we want to recognize our outgoing board members who have done a terrific job this year. Our outgoing members are Catherine Brandt, Lucy Buzzy, Kit Logston, Mary Berkey. The four of them have served their term and are outgoing board members, and we so appreciate their service. They have been very active and very impactful. So thank you to Catherine, Lucy, Kit, and Mary. All right, at this point, yes, a round of virtual applause for Catherine, Lucy, Kit, and Mary.
Yes.
Your service is greatly appreciated. Next, a moment of fun. Elizabeth is going to give away some door prizes. She has a drawing, so all those people who are attending today are in the drawing.
Well, as a reward for sitting through this long virtual meeting, we will be giving away some gift cards that have kindly been donated. If you are a board member, unfortunately, I did not put your name in the hat, so you can get the short end of the stick again. But I was actually doing the drawings while Cheryl was talking. So the first gift card is a $50 gift card to Gramercy Books, which is in Bexley. However, you can order online. You don't have to go out to Bexley. And the winner of that gift card is Reham.
Yay, Reham. All right.
Thank you,
Use
guys.
that well.
Okay. The second gift card is $25 to Smith's Sausage House. And the winner of that gift card is Kathy Elkins.
All right, Kathy.
And Kathy does a wonderful job organizing our Meals on Wheels route that we do every Sunday. So if you're interested in getting involved with a Meals on Wheels route, Kathy would be more than happy to talk to you about getting involved. And then the money that they earn doing the Meals on Wheels route gets donated to the league. So it is a fundraiser for the league, and you're also helping the community. So thank you, Kathy.
Right. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you.
And the third gift card is a $10 gift card to Wendy's. And the winner of that is Ann Hoke.
All right, Ann.
Wow.
And I will mail you all your gift cards afterwards.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. All right, just a few thoughts before we adjourn. Because we are a good organization and we're working hard, remember those action alerts. That's how we get a lot of the work done. And Elizabeth, I think, was going to put a few action alerts into our chat, because these are very, very important to take action on right now to protect voting rights. So here's our action alerts, things that are coming up. Please be very, very involved with them. I've already mentioned we need a chair for a membership committee. We need additional people on our development committee. And Kitty mentioned she's looking for ideas of people who we should consider for our DIA honoree next year. So the only thing left to do is to thank Sue Phillips. Sue, thank you so very much for your help with this. We greatly appreciate it. So thank you to of our entire membership. And at this point, if there's no other discussion, can I hear a motion for adjournment?
This is Ann. I move to adjourn.
Ann Hoke, thank you. We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second, Lucy Buzzy.
Thank you, Lucy. All right, we are now adjourned. Thank you all so very much and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Hi, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.